Okay, call the meeting to order. Do you have anybody who has citizen comments? If you do, you need to fill out a form. That all staff, okay. So I'll go on to our agenda items. First item, consider the approval of the minutes from November 20th, 2025 meeting.
So C5, I guess that's Square Park on C5. We don't have an Inspire Park.
Yes. Okay,
E3 is the second bullet, it's supposed to be Fall Holiday Craze, not Craze.
okay.
And Barbara, I think that 11/27 for the date on the third to last bullet.
Holiday lighting. Good after Christmas.
It's gotta be 11/27.
Yeah,
Wait, which that?
right here.
Oh, said it 12/27?
Mhm.
Oh, that's the second.
Okay, any others?
What was that first bullet supposed to say under C5?
Is it Transform Square Park that it was supposed to be?
Likely, because that's what.
Newberry
Under
Park.
that. It was Squire Park, that's one of the ones that I provided an update on.
That's what I
Oh,
remember.
Squire Park,
yeah.
so it's just,
What's the Newberry Park
Yeah.
revitalization?
I think it was accidental if it was transcribed from,
Okay.
by AI from our video, it probably just picked up the words from the elections.
Got it. So it just needs to be Squire Park. All right, on
Because I think
C5, we'll
that's what
change
happened
that.
with
Okay,
Praise and Craze, it sounded similar.
yeah, that's probably what it was. Okay, thank you.
yeah, you should hear me with theory in the car. It's not
It's like
pretty.
75% that it'll
Yeah.
get.
It's about 50-50 with me. So, anyway, okay, do I have a motion to accept the minutes as changed or updated?
So moved.
Jan Wooldridge,
Second.
David Jones, second,
Aye.
all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay.
So forgive me if I'm out of order, because I'm just asking a question in terms of, one thing I didn't see much discussion of, well, there is C2, it talks about discuss the Berg City program. My question is, when I look through all the materials for what we're talking about.
We're gonna handle it. Just
Okay,
be patient,
okay, thank
be
you.
patient, please.
I just didn't see in the packet, so.
Okay, so we're going to see, we're gonna flip C3 and C2. So C3, discuss rawhide signage. Is that,
Great. Trail center.
okay,
And we're gonna, you look on the overhead, we'll have the updated sign.
Maria Minter, Managing Superintendent of Public Works. I know most of you, nice to see everybody, familiar faces. I have been working with Tara and Rachel Johnson in the marketing, and communications department on updating the trail signage. I know, I believe the last meeting you all had, there was a presentation for the trail signage. And so, with your feedback, we've updated the sign to reflect the mileage and, we have it color coded. So that'll be on all of the signage. Right now we plan to have 6 signs out there. We'll use the existing frames. So it'll be a somewhat familiar signage, just updated. QR code is going to be a nice feature too, because it'll link to our trails page, and then any information that changes on there too, it'll just be updated on the page. So the sign will always stay current. Any questions? That's really all I have as far as updates go, but I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you. Questions about trail signage?
thank you.
That's it then. That's easy. Y'all make it easy for me. Thank you.
It's good to see you again.
You too. Thank you.
The mileage is back, so thank you.
Mileage is back.
Okay, moving on to C2. Hold back, discuss Parks and Recs board, reviews and audits. Okay, if you remember, some of y'all were not on the board when we did the audit before. And there was, the form was in here, the auditing tool, big monster tool. Okay, and there's also a list of the parks. Now, are we doing this or are we discussing?
So, based on Adrian and I had our chair meeting and based on the discussion, she wanted to kind of bring it forth to see if this is something the board would be receptive to doing again. Just from a staff perspective, I wanted to just bring forth that the form which is in your packet, that was what was used before. It's a very lengthy form. It's and then I'm wondering if there's ways that we can adjust that. And what I would suggest also is creating kind of we internally started creating a lot of standard operating procedures for a lot of things that we do. So what I would suggest is if this is something the board wants to look at doing, bringing it back, then we revisit the form and we create a process for you all that's simple, easy to use. I'm even thinking if there's a way we can create a form where you can even access it on your phone or online, where we're not having to deal with paper. And then also providing information, because I think the reason behind these is to give staff feedback on what's going on at the parks. And so I think we want a tool that would help us. So, and just looking through the existing form, there's a lot of questions and things on there. I don't know if it really helps us. It may be something good to do. But I'm just not sure how, and I just wouldn't want that information sitting on the shelf. If you guys are gonna go to the effort to do an audit, and I want to use the information you guys provide to us. So, so maybe it's something we can bring back to the board we can kind of create a starting point and then kind of bring it back for, input, and then we can kind of, till we all get to a point we see this is that's the final product, and then we can get going from there. So that was kind of
Yeah,
my
I think
thought.
this tool, this big 6-page, I think is really too much because half of the parks, a lot of this information doesn't apply to. And so, especially pocket parks and some of those other smaller ones, not to say that they don't need to be evaluated, but it just seems arduous to me.
I would agree. This was challenging to do. When you think about it for, even though we divided up the parks, it might only have 3 each or so 4 in some cases. That was still a lot to try to track, and some of it wasn't You're applicable. flipping back and forth.
Yes,
and you're trying to carry it.
No flow to this tool.
So Robert, this was generated by the Parks Department. Originally.
Well, I think at some point, staff found this tool somewhere written by somebody else, and I don't know really the history other than we were just able to locate it.
Right,
So-
well, I guess my question is, if we're trying to condense, what are you looking for? What do you want?
Well, what I would do, I would probably come back to you all with the form that I think would benefit you all and us.
Yes.
And so I might use some of the information in the form that they're asking but not all of it, I think it's 6 pages.
Yes.
So it's, very comprehensive. So,
So I think streamlining is a great idea. What I would like to say that I thought it was a good exercise for us to do it, because when I came on the board and it was assigned to my parks, there are parks I've never been to before. And it was a good opportunity for me, being new to the board and quite frankly, new to Farmers Branch, to learn about these different parks. So I think it's a great idea to streamline it, but I also think it's good for all of us to, whenever you do get to the point where you have a tool that you feel will be helpful to you, for us to all, just like you said, divide and conquer. Each one of us take 3 parks, and I just think it's a real helpful exercise.
I also agree, it was good when I joined the board. And I also got parks I hadn't been to and didn't know were Farmers Branch, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so I do too. I think the process is a worthy one for the board to be doing. I do agree that the actual format can be simplified, but one of the parks that I had was Squire Park, and as we've discussed Squire Park over the last year or so, it's been extremely helpful to me because I know exactly what we're talking about. And I think as board members, we need to be more familiar with the parks.
I strongly support y'all having a tool that works for y'all though, because if this didn't work for y'all, then that's pointless.
Yeah.
So,
It's
give us a tool that works for you.
still out of paperwork, it sounds like it's just sitting on a shelf somewhere, so.
Well, it hasn't been done since I started, so there was nothing provided to me when I started. Hey, this is a report of what we did and how so, yeah, I don't know where all this stuff, information, yes, ma'am.
It originated with council requesting us to, take a, survey of the parks, pardon me. And my only other comment would be, let's please don't do it in August, like we did the first time.
Well, no, the last time we did it was like in April.
Yeah, no, it was, but.
Well, there was a time when it was in August because I was not on the board at the time. And there were several members who did not do their surveys. And I ended up doing some surveys, even though I wasn't on the board because I had been on the board.
Right.
And, I did like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
So it was,
there were.
and it was hot. It was hot.
I did all,
So,
I had one thing I wanted to bring up. Is it worth discussing this process being part of maybe a subcommittee of the board where your subcommittee can come together and take the form and look at how you guys would want to approach it and then come back to us with them? I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. It's up
No,
to
it
you.
needs to be something that you can use.
Exactly.
I think that the staff can use.
Exactly.
I mean, I'd love to help y'all if y'all want to sit down with a
Sure.
couple of us in a subcommittee, but y'all have to be involved because if
Yeah.
y'all
Right.
can't use it, then.
Okay,
and I even
It
think
sits on
you all
itself.
starting it and then having some of us.
Okay.
Yes.
Look at
Probably be a better sequence.
got it. Okay, so let us come up with a form and then like a simple SOP and then bring that to the next, either the February or March meeting. We'll get one of the next meetings and then we'll update the park list too, because I think that's out of date as well. But that was just to give you all an example of what, I think there are some changes to that as well. So, okay.
yeah, well, and the park list is neat. And what I suggested when we were talking is that each of us take a few parks that we're close to and do a run through or walk through. I know you walk and then you walk dogs. And
I've got a bunch of people doing it too.
so the thing about being there is sometimes there's things that come up the staff is not gonna see or notice, or, if there's a tree down in the very back of a park, them driving by, they're not gonna necessarily see that, but if you're a local, a resident, or someone who is in that park a lot, you're gonna be the ears and eyes for our staff. And you were talking about the
Yeah, the app, yeah, I think part of the SOP would be if you guys are out doing a survey and you see something that needs immediate attention, but it's not like something we need to know right away, you could use the FBTX app. That's the city app where you can put in concerns and things like that. Cause what that does is there's a paper trail when you put those requests in and it's logged and it tracks, everything that happens once we receive that request. And I would even put that out to all of you when you're out anyway, that I would make sure if you can get that app on your phone. And if you see anything, I mean, you all are our, you're our park leaders out there and I welcome an email or a call or whatever if something comes up, but that is a quick way. If you're like, well, I don't want to bother staff, but this is something they need to know about, then it lets you take a picture and all that. And you can even do it anonymous. I mean, so it's a great tool, for us and the city as a whole. So I'll probably add that into the SOP just as part of, the whole process as well. So.
Right.
we'll look forward to hearing
Okay.
more. And then if we need to establish a subcommittee for that, we
Okay.
can do that.
Perfect.
Okay, C4, receive an update on the fourth quarter reports for the following divisions. Recreation Center.
Let me just say one thing real quick. Look, and we had some items, and I know David alluded to it earlier. No, just hold on. There's a couple items we're gonna have to bring back to you probably in February that I want to just note before we get into the reports. So I know we had some we are working on trying to get you information on the tree audit. Bird City, we have, the resident who has a lot of information on Bird City. Is probably gonna be, she wasn't able to come tonight, so instead of putting that item on, we're just gonna carry that over to February because she was available to come. And then there was also a note about egrets, so we'll provide a quick update on that. And then the Rose Rosette at the Rose Garden, we're still working on trying to get some information for you all on that as well. So we'll be working on that for the February meeting. We figured Rose Rosette for February, that probably worked out really well for that. So anyway, so I'll turn it over to the crew now. Thank you.
Oh, wait, no.
Ashley Flores, Recreation Manager. Before I get started tonight, I'm going to introduce Dylan Gammon. He is the new member of our team, Aquatic Supervisor for the Aquatic Center, and I'm going to let him introduce himself a little bit more.
I'm Dylan Gammon. Like she said, I'm the new aquatic supervisor. I have been in aquatics for 7 years now. My most recent place that I worked at was City of Cleburne as a recreation coordinator, where I was mainly in charge of aquatics, facility operations and training, and then events as well.
We're excited to have him. Sorry, we do have one quick announcement that we will be opening the pool back up Monday at 6 a.m. bright. Well, not that bright, it's dark, but early. So we got our inspection day. We're all good to go. Dylan and Amanda are putting the final touches on the pool the next 3 days, and then we're good to go for Monday.
Excellent.
Way to start my presentation.
Yes.
Alrighty, everyone. So I am giving the rec aquatics report and our aquatics and recreation end of year report. So I'm just combining them all just to make it a little easier instead of giving 3 different presentations. So again, Ashley Flores, Recreation Manager. I'll be giving you the Aquatics Recreation Division's end of year report for FY 24-25. It is the mission of the Farmers Branch Parks and Recreation Department to provide citizens regardless of age, sex, race, interest, or financial consideration with a year-round functional park system that promotes active, passive, educational, and recreational experiences through an effective delivery system. Our aquatics division consists of the Margaret Young Natatorium, the Frog Pond Water Park, and select special events. Our goals for this last fiscal year for the Aquatic Center was to increase aquatics fitness attendance by implementing targeted marketing strategies, improve overall targeting and community engagement by 20%, increase overall experience to meet diverse needs of the community, and to increase our learn to swim in attendance through implementing marketing strategies. Our achievements for this last fiscal year for the Aquatics Center were we increased our aquatics fitness participation by 5% compared to our FY 23-24 year. We increased memberships by 7%. Our Learn to Swim program had a total of 1,202 total participants, with 893 being residents and 309 being non-residents. And the Farmers Branch Aquatic Center celebrated our 10th birthday, and we offered free admission to residents and celebrated with the community, and then also participated in CFBISD trunk or treats. The Recreation Division consists of the Recreation Center, athletic field operations, and select special events. Our goals for this last fiscal year were to maintain 100% cost recovery, create partnerships with the Farmers Branch schools, and offer unique programming for all ages. Our achievements for this last year is that the Recreation Center did, have 107% cost recovery for the last fiscal year. We partnered with Mary Grimes and offered an alternative fitness class for their students, and we participated in CFBISD trunk or treats as well. Our homeschool open play program offered an open gym opportunity for homeschool students in the area. We implemented a volleyball skills and trills program and increased revenue in our recreation rentals, summer sunshine, and our memberships. And then if you look up, you have our memorable moments for this last fiscal year. We have our Feliz Navidad event, Daddy Daughter up there, our trunk or treat at Farmers Branch Elementary, our 10th birthday party at the rec center, the Aquatic Center. We have our teen camp kids at the skate park, our volleyball skills and drills, and then one of the events we held, the Lazy River 5K for Parks and Rec Month this past summer. So looking ahead to 2026, we are looking to move all our recreation and aquatics rentals fully online, increase our social media presence by 10% with creative and relevant content, cross-train our recreation and aquatic center staff, and rec center maintain 100% cost recovery. Any questions?
How did, the pool being closed, the indoor facility, how did that translate to the people? Did you have a lot of participation over in the rec center during that time, or could you tell?
Yes, so that will be in this fiscal year's Q1 report, but I can touch on it a little bit. So Dylan and I were just talking about this. So we had not as many come over here. Water people are usually like really, really water people versus land people. But every day we did have anywhere from 5 to 8 natatorium members checking in, because they do a daily count. But we did have still participation in our fitness classes. So Rotha and Laura are aquatics fitness instructors. We did dry land fitness, and we still had anywhere from 8 to 10. So it's pretty good for having to change completely the environment. So I think it was still successful, and we were still able to offer something.
And with the pool opening on Monday, will y'all send out an email blast?
Yes, so we wanted to inform the board first, and then I'm getting some verbiage cleared, and then Dylan will be sending that out soon.
Okay, good.
Yes, and we'll be posting, and it'll be big announcements.
Okay, good.
I know people are missing it.
So Ashley, thank you very much for the PowerPoint presentation. Can we also ask questions about this that was in the packet?
Absolutely.
Okay, page number 1, it says subject Division 52. What is Division
Can we-
52?
Sorry, I'm on 2. Are you on rec center? Yes. Okay. Division 52, that's just the recreation center division. So we're one department, but we all have different division numbers. The rec and athletics is 52, aquatics is 53.
And events is 57.
And then
Okay.
historical park has one.
51.
Yes, parks has one. So we're one department, but different divisions. So we have division numbers.
Thank you. So another question for you on, when you talk about the youth program revenue, there's a line here that says 84% of summer funshine participants are Farmers Branch residents. I was just curious, how does that compare with years past? Is that a high number, a low number? Is it going up, going down? Just curious, that 84%.
It's going up a little bit, but we have mostly residents that are participating in our summer funshine program.
Okay. And then another question I had was over on the aquatics. Just looking at the numbers, we have over 100% capture on the rec center, but then we have a 38% on the aquatic center. And forgive me, because I should know this, but being on the board for many years, at the end of the day, the aquatic center basically operates at a loss, whereas this operates at a profit. Is that fair to say that? Because of the chemicals and the upkeep?
Right, so there's a lot more that goes into running that building. And so you have chemical costs that we have to legally keep up with. So when it's outside during the summer, we're running through a lot of chems. And that's just a big cost. That's a cost we're gonna have to take. And we have a lot more staff over there. As far as it takes anywhere from 18 to 20 to operate one shift outside. That's not including indoor. And that's when we're open for the summer, that's 7 days a week.
Great. No, it's a wonderful natatorium, great for the community. And I guess that's the Farmers Branch just makes the decision. This is something we're gonna do. We're not concerned about the fact that we make whether or not it makes a profit or not, whereas this facility consistently, we have over 100% capture. So
We definitely want to continue to try to make profit and close that gap, but it is going to operate at a loss. So just because there's a lot more that goes into it.
thank you.
Okay. So that's rec and aquatics. So now community event.
Hello, everyone. Jocelyn Avina, Community Events Manager. I'm here to present my Q4, which covers July through September. So starting strong with Independence Day, our annual celebration. And in honor of Parks and Rec Month, we did honor the 60th anniversary for NRPA. So we hosted over 15 pop-ups, and that is through the entire department. So it took the Rec Center, the Branch Connection, events, and aquatics team to host these pop-ups. So like as Ashley mentioned in her quarter report, she covered that as well. For Independence Day, our revenue is 16,941, and this covers sponsorships, concessions, the rental chair revenue that the historical park friends sell and rent during this time are 10 VIP cabanas that always sell out. And then as well as our non-resident ticket entry fee, which we got back a percentage from our vendor, which was 6,665. Something new this year that we did was we did online reservations for IDC. So before we had our cash sales gates at the north gate and the main gate, but this year we did everything online, which helped with staff wise, covering the main gates. And then we didn't have any cash on site. So that was another safety protocol that we implemented this year. And it went really great. We had great feedback from the staff that was covering the gate. So it was a QR code. You bought your tickets online, you went through the gate, and we scanned it like Blooming Bluegrass. So we implemented the Blooming Bluegrass ticket fee to Independence Day for the year of 2025. Our expenses were right under our budget, which we spent 74,720. And then our attendance always stays the same for Independence Day. It's a very popular event, so we had 7,000 attendees from start to finish. And then as for our NRPA pop-ups, we did learn a lot this year. We're in 2025 with hosting over the 15. Our most popular ones were from the Branch Connection and our Bubbles and Bond that was hosted at Gussie Pavilion. So for the summer of 2026, we're definitely going to implement more different ways for the NRPA pop-up, since we did go over in hosting 15. Now we know what was popular at each facility. So that covers all the divisions that we have. And then during this quarter, we did go strong with hosting our monthly subcommittee meetings. So our events review subcommittee helps us plan for the fall, which covered Halloween in the Park, Arbor Day, and our Christmas Carnival. So we have those monthly meetings. They did help us plan those, and as well as introducing our new coordinator that started in August, Molly Martinez. You guys have met her before, so she did come on board during this quarter, and we finished strong with planning all the fall and Christmas events. So that is our fourth quarter. Any questions?
And it may be in here, and I apologize if it is. Do we have an attendance estimate yet for Christmas?
So Christmas will be in my first quarter, and yes, so we had 4,000 attendees, and then our Plaisir AI covered 3.1K. So we were right on board with attendance. Plaisir does not calculate children or anyone under the age of 18 that doesn't have a cellular device. Yeah, for that.
Austin, question for you. I'm sorry. Everybody else knows what this is, but I don't. What does NRPA stand for?
So NRPA is National Recreation Parks Association.
Thank you.
Yes. Anyone else? Any? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. P5, receive the Recreation Division update.
Yes. So that is me, Jessica Alvarado, Recreation Superintendent. And so I will start off first. So just an update to the board. We have had some staffing changes in the historical park. And so with the staffing changes, we just felt the right alignment was to move our events team, who is previously stationed at the office out of City Hall, and they did all of our community events, community outreach, as well as the marketing, social media for our entire department. And we moved the manager, the coordinator, and their specialists over to the historical park, and so they are now assisting with full operations. So Jocelyn is now the, I would say, the interim historical park venue AC42 community events marketing, social media manager, all the things, that's her. So her and her team have been doing a really great job. It just aligned well, as you guys all know, 90% of their events, other than the outreach efforts and marketing of their job duties, are essentially homed at the historical park. Their supplies are at the historical park, setups at the historical park, vendors dropping off things are at the historical park. And so the executive team just felt that was the right alignment. And so they are there joined with Tony, Derek, and Lauren, assisting them with all of the wonderful things that the historical park has to offer. And so during this transition that occurred over the last 2 weeks, the team is kind of just looking at everything from, an eagle's eye to see how they can continue to move forward in providing the historical programs and modern day programming to the residents of Farmers Branch, because our park is more than just a park, right? It's more than just an event destination. There is so much historical education that we want to continue. And with Lauren having the background that she does, she can continue that aspect. Whereas Molly and Jocelyn comes well-rounded from the Recreation Center that has rentals. It's got programming. She's got that experience. Molly comes kind of from everything. She comes from wedding rentals, small corporate rentals, historical structures. So the team together collectively with Lauren and Tony will continue that operation. So that's a little bit of an update there. And so some of the updates that we give you guys moving forward will be combined. So events reporting next time around, you guys will also hear a little bit of historical park and venue 1842 information and vice versa. When we go to the historical park board, Lauren Pringler will be giving an update with some of the park and rec board events as well as the historical park. And so I just wanted to give that update. And then next, I wanted to just let you guys know that at this upcoming, the next council meeting, Robert will be giving a presentation on behalf of the community events team. We had a council request to look into a possible fall 5K. And if you know our team, they're like, yay, let's do something new. So they're all pumped and ready for that, for whatever the council's direction is. However, Robert is going to propose a suggestion to possibly consolidate some of those and make it like a one-day festival where you have 5K in the morning, possibly haunted houses, and then later in the evening where you have Halloween in the park. So that way, no events are not going to happen. We're able to just do everything, and you're able to utilize your park staff, your vendors, lighting, electricity, everything, all of your resources in one day, knock it out. And then it's early in the month if they choose. And then families can continue to utilize their Halloween outfits for the remainder of the month. So we're looking forward to that. And I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that Robert will be giving that presentation on behalf of the community events team, which all of you guys support. Let's see, the first attachment here, I wanted to, we normally haven't done this, looks a little blurry, so if you need it to be more fine, if you'll email Linda, she'll get this from me and we'll get this to you guys. But I just wanted you guys to have an overview of our facility hours. As you guys are stewards of our operations, I wanted you to have this available. This is also going to be on the website. And I believe we also emailed this to you guys. So it just gives you, during holidays when we have altered hours, typically when you see on here, if you're looking, if the rec center closes on a Friday or a day before a holiday at 5 p.m., yes, if you see Summer Funshine Holiday Craze advertising, we stay open until 6 p.m. for the parents to come pick up their kids. So that's the only thing that's not listed on here that I just wanted to verbally let you guys know of. The next attachment is we wanted to provide you all with our 2026 calendar year of basketball closures that could impact operations. And so there's Daddy-Daughter Dance, our Summer Funshine Carnival, and our Pancakes and Pajamas. And so, we like to transform our gym and not make it look like a typical basketball gym, which is why we impede operations the day before to allow a full 24 hours of setup. And I mean, do they set up? They do an amazing job at that. And so we just wanted to give you guys ample notice to know that this is when we close the gym and this is the reasoning for us closing the gym. And then next, Ms. Jocelyn will come up and give her presentation regarding the donations from the Parks and Rec Department.
Jocelyn, I'm the Community Events Manager. I am here to present the most efficient way to collect donations at events. So this presentation kind of shows a how-to on how we are going to proceed with donations. We did get some information and help from the IT department As most of you know, our donation goes straight to ActiveNet, and we're trying to just improvise on how to collect the donations to help our youth scholarship fund. So the donation process will consist of 3 steps. The first one will be the donation process with existing software. As I mentioned, we use ActiveNet all across our department and throughout the city. The second will be the donation process on how we do it at the events. And the third will be the report, which we will handle. So with the you can skip it. So the first step will be the events team will provide a laptop or charger and a MiFi at the event with a credit card reader. This credit card reader, they are new and you can tap on it or you can insert the credit card. The second step will be how to show you guys how to run our POS system, which is kind of like a point of sale, which kind of like a cash register where you will click on the youth scholarship button and add the amount that the resident or attendee would like to donate. And then you will just press OK and then hit tender, and you will then be able to email them a receipt. So we would have to have someone allocated to just the computer. So right here, we do have a screenshot on the ActiveNet POS transaction. So when we log in, we will have all that information for you. You'll just have to make sure that the laptop does not go on sleep mode. But you will click on the POS icon, which is the third icon to the top. The Youth Scholarship Fund donation button is in yellow. Once you click on the button, you'll be able to allocate the funds. So it would be $5, $6, $10, $20, $30, $100. You will just hit payment charge, which is the credit card button, and then you'll hit tender, and then the credit card reader will look like this, which you can tap or insert. And then if you hit the next slide, the receipt will pop up once you hit tender. And then you'll be able to email the receipt to the attendee. We wouldn't be able to print on site because that does require a printer.
What about the people that use their phones?
So it does take tap. So it takes Apple Pay, and the other one, but Google Pay. Yeah, so you're able to put your phone on the monitor or tap your credit card or insert it. So it is the most updated credit card transaction that we use throughout our department.
And will the individual type in their email address?
So we would have to type it for
We
them.
have to type.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so we would have to type it. We could also, if, for the time being during the event, if they are like, well, I don't have a email address, we can get their name and then somehow we can email it to them, or they can come and pick up their receipt if
I was
they
gonna
need
say,
their
when we've
receipt.
done,
Yeah.
when the Friends has done it, we didn't have the Google Pay and the Apple Pay, but when we did it, a lot of times they didn't want the receipt.
Yeah, and then we always
Talking about maybe 1 in 10 wants a receipt.
Yeah, and we always have history to track that, which is the next slide, which is the reporting process that we would handle at the end of the night. We can, or the night or the previous day, we could always go back and print that report and get the report that we made for that day. So it would be a cash receipt sale, credit card sale transactions that we would take over for after each event.
Is there a minimum amount?
There's not a minimum amount. So when you click on the youth scholarship button, you're able to allocate how much they would like to donate. It could be $1, 50 cents, 100, 200.
If we decide another in addition to the scholarship, could it be added onto here?
So, yeah, so the way the buttons work is we allocate a account to. So we have our youth scholarship fund donation account, but then we also have our sponsorship donation account. So it's really what we want the back end to be for that specific button.
So if we come up with another scholarship. or
Yes.
something, it could be added to this.
It can be added to that, just.
We'd
we
have to
just
look
need
into
know,
it, cause,
Yeah,
it has to
Yeah.
go back to, one of our internal departments to be able to do that. So previously, we've done it for like the animal shelter. We would, Teen Leadership Program would donate, we would sponsor like one of the kennels for a summer. And so they would raise funds, and at the end of the year, they would go and present the manager over there with their check. Just basically an internal journal entry is what we'd be able to do it.
The reason I was asking is, what I found in the 2 Christmases that I've worked, one where we were taking the money donations, and people would ask, and we could tell them what the money was for. And most people don't know what Summer Funshine is. And so it gave us an opportunity to talk to people, residents, as they were waiting in line. We had some talk. But this past year, we really didn't have anything. And I saw that the communication between us and the residents, us board members, and we're not there. And so that's why I was saying that it gives us an opportunity to talk about Summer Funshine, but if there's also another worthy thing, it would give us an opportunity to let our residents know that the city offers these.
Spread awareness.
Yeah, so, Dustin, this is very helpful. Thanks for walking us through this. I'm just trying to, so channeling what Steve just said, because we all just recently did this, or most of us on the board just recently volunteered at the Santa gazebo.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to picture, so are you saying that one of us would be at a computer and one of us would, then we direct the person to that person and say, okay, would you like to make a donation? Okay, this pretend is Jan, say Joe, and Jan's got the computer, and then we bring a resident over and say, yes, I'd like to make a donation. And then, I'm just trying to figure out the mechanics of how it's gonna work. And I also thought I heard you say something about a cash donation. Is it just credit card, or did I also hear you say something about
You
cash?
can also take cash, and we could also, add the cash too. It just has to be the exact same cash amount, because we wouldn't have like petty cash to be giving people change.
So David, to answer your question, what we'll do is we'll have a staff member assigned to that location, just because we're dealing with cash handling.
Yes.
We want to make sure that we're being good stewards of those donations. And so what we'll do is we'll have, kind of like you guys saw this past year, how Ashley was kind of within that area of the stroller parking and the donations. And so she'll be there assisting with that. And so you guys don't have to worry about accepting any type of payments or dealing with the city hardware.
Okay.
We'll take care of that. But Ashley may be like, hey, let's, make sure we're spreading awareness to the line that we're accepting donations. So you guys will be doing that, getting the line ready. So then we just have a city staff member that knows the system. Our rec leaders here at the rec center, they know all this back end stuff, because it's real easy to accidentally press the wrong button, and we don't want you guys to have to worry about any of that. And so the directions that they will have you guys doing and following, they'll get you guys well equipped for that this time next December when Christmas comes back around.
Or
I think for-
Halloween too.
And Halloween,
Yeah. Good.
yeah, Halloween.
I think we'd likely prefer them to do cash, because I'm pretty sure there's a fee to this, so.
No.
No, there's no-
We already
Yeah,
use
we've
this
already
system.
used
This is
it.
our
Okay.
system that we use for program
government-
registration,
Yeah.
which is what,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's what we use this internally, and so with Christmas kind of going back to that, so kind of just doing a better site logistic on where we would put the laptop and how we would do the line to make sure that those who are interested in donating could go to the right person to make that
Well,
donation.
have signage.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing is we
Yeah.
didn't have any, we had a couple of small signs, but it was very,
I think we have an agenda item for that one. I think we're gonna get into that some more.
Yeah, and we kind of discussed it a little bit in our event subcommittee / Gateway to the Globe subcommittee this past month as well, so we got good input.
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you.
It's great, yeah.
Okay. Number C6, receive the Parks Division update. That-
Mark Moffett, Park Superintendent. How are y'all this evening?
Good.
Thank you for
Your
being here.
favorite topic?
I was at a meeting last night and had a wonderful topic about water. Yes. Topic tonight is about Oak Brook, give y'all an update on the medians and stuff that we've been doing. There was quite a bit of a delay for about a month and a half, 2 months. They've been trying to get it ironed out with Encore to get the lights put in. I think I informed y'all close to October. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be here in November. There was a lull in it. We have gotten with Encore finally. They have gotten their paperwork done and they were supposed to get the materials in this week. So we can continue on the west end to get that electric in, so then we can come in and put the irrigation and the plants. On the east end, the turf company is supposed to be there next week to start, barring weather, that they will be laying the sod. All the landscape has already been put in on the east end. It's just the turf that needs to be finished up. As y'all can tell, don't know if it's all in everybody's packet, but go back to this. On the west end where the electricity's going in, we're still gonna go, with that median being 30 feet wide, we're able to go back and get some oak trees put in. It's a
Excellent.
chinkapin oak and a Mexican oak. There will be one flowering tree of a crepe myrtle. We did get some feedback from that residence over there. They didn't really want as much, ornamental grass, so we're kind of going with Benelli. It's more, Benelli crepe myrtles are more of a dwarf style crepe myrtle, to give them a little bit more color in their medians. That was one of their concerns. Pavestone's been completed, which is a Holland brick. It's kind of an antique pink. And the grass is the Tiff Tuff Bermuda.
Is everybody in Oak Brook happy? Steve, what do you think?
Well, they've kind of stopped listening to me. They're in the, I'll believe it when I see it stage, so. But I will have to say for Robert, because we had our annual meeting and it came up and I was able to share the $35,000 check story, Robert, and they all found the humor now, so.
That looks good. I like it.
Any
I
questions?
like the way it looks.
Does anybody have anything they need me to bring up the next time besides the getting more information on for y'all for the Rose Rosette garden on the garden and everything? Or any other topics you'd like for me to bring up?
Well, I think we were gonna move, the tree audit to February and the Bird City program to February.
Yes, and the Rose Rosette for February, but for future, is there anything that I can bring back to y'all in March when, because is what we'll bring back to you in February? But is there any information I can start getting?
Tennis backstop,
I'm sorry,
the tennis backstop.
at Gussie?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll check into that and get that figured out.
Anything more about Mercer
Mercer,
or in the future?
Tara will be giving you that information here in just a minute when we move to the next subject for projects.
Okay, so we'll move along to C7. And
Thank you.
Tara, that's you.
We have some exciting news, Squire Park. Right now, the property survey is complete. And right now we're at 40% of design complete. So you should be seeing in February, us coming back with the alternative options for y'all to view and give some feedback and give us your blessing as well too. So expect that in February for that to be in the packet next month. So we're moving ahead on that one. Dutch Village, just to remind you all, I did state a date for the grand opening again, the reopening. The date has changed to March, so we'll be doing it March 17th. From 10 to 12 at Dutch Village, so if you want to put that on your calendar.
St. Patty's Day.
Should be I think it's Tuesday.
Mhm.
March
So-
17th.
It's a Tuesday.
It's
still
It's St. Patrick's Day, so just, yeah, we're.
Oh, yeah.
We even have some.
We'll have green stuff.
Yeah.
So what time is it?
10 to 12.
Green beer, she says.
It's also the week of spring break, so that's where we're taking advantage of the kids being out of school that week. So we should have a pretty good turnout, hopefully. That's what we're doing it during the day.
So if you haven't drove by there, the playground is installed. There still is fencing up, but there's also some property enhancements that will be installed in the park as well too. So should be exciting for the March when we have that grand opening. Pretty tired. Mercer Park, so right now we're in this design, where we left off in December, we did get additional funding for Mercer Park, the 1 million. And so that is allowing us to complete this design for the south portion as well too. So now we will have a design for, the north and the south portion instead of just the north portion. And then that should be moving forward with a design concept again in March or so.
Right.
And that completes my update. Does anybody have any questions for me?
What about, okay, so that was the reveal, the Dutch Villages, the March, Squire Park, we get a design in February, and then Mercer, you're talking about design in March.
Yes.
Okay.
And I just want to reiterate, I don't know if you guys, so we did get additional funding for both Squire Park and for Mercer Park. So Mercer Park got an additional $1 million, Squire Park got an additional 300,000. So the budget now for Squire is 1.3, and total for Mercer is, where are we at? 2.1 or something like.
Give or take.
Yeah. So, that's gonna help a lot. So we were appreciative of council. It was the year-end, fund balance that they were able to reallocate for that, so.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Okay.
We're gonna have a busy February, March, and Dennis.
Yeah. Okay, C8, do we have anything that anybody wants to get an update or any information anybody has?
I just thought that December 6th Christmas Carnival was fantastic. I wrote a note about what a great job Ashley did. She working with us, coordinating with us, just making sure we really felt like we were, helping out. I just was really just so impressed with what she did that night. She also, if you think about it, she got somebody there to help us because all of us apparently signed up for the first shift and none of us signed up for the second shift. Not many of us signed up for the second shift.
I was gonna say.
And well, there weren't many of us. Most of us, it was definitely heavy on the front shift. But she had some people there to make sure that we covered. So I just think that she did a great job.
Yeah, from a couple of people from some other boards. So yes, that was nice of them to help us out.
The event subcommittee meeting said the same thing about it, and, we were all talking improvements, and then at the end of it was, but if you repeated it exactly the same, everyone had a blast. And so the only negatives were about the gazebo and us. There were negatives about us as volunteers at the gazebo that some of the residents thought we were off-putting. But not everyone was pleasant, I guess. So I just want to put that out there. I guess some of the tension at the beginning kind of rolled into our first shift at the start, because we weren't a smooth start. So we talked in the event subcommittee about volunteer, like a kickoff 30 minutes before to remind everybody what the event's for, what the volunteer opportunities for the residents. So.
I missed that meeting, and I certainly don't want to make an excuse for anybody, but
It was a tough start.
there was no, like in past years, they had those guardrails. So it was very easy where people were supposed to go to circle around, because there's only way you get up on that stage and come on. And there were no guardrails there, and so people were coming from all different directions, cutting in line and everything. And so I think
I think we were like directing them and.
yeah, so, you can't play. So, but like I said, I think some of those issues can be resolved.
Well, do you think it'll be, at the same place next
Yeah.
year?
It always is.
What
Always is.
it has been for the last few years.
So it sounds like we need to make a point of I was out of town this year, but it sounds like we need to make a point of some of that waist-high fencing being there.
That's what.
Because if people are trying to go one way and we're saying, no, that's gonna be off-putting. to
It
them.
was.
And it's not really meant to be, and nobody's doing anything wrong, but
And
we're interrupting their flow.
Yeah, and then the stroller being off
Yeah.
the ways away, that was kind of
Yeah, that-
confusing and, so, and there wasn't the signage wasn't that good and, so there's some room for improvement that will help us out.
And exit signage maybe that helps.
Because a lot of
People
people
see the
try
flow.
to get up, just walk up stage.
Right.
It's like, there's a line here.
Yeah.
Was the previous year, more streamlined? 2 years ago, it was much better. It was my first year doing it,
Yeah.
and it ran very smoothly.
So we had guardrails.
We did.
And
We had the mailbox, it got taken away for letters to Santa this year, but we had the mailbox for donations. That's where everyone dropped them in safe.
And we looked like normal people. We didn't have those yellow vests.
That was weird.
You know, that was, yeah. So like I said, there's a lot of things that we can improve.
That fencing could make a huge
The
difference.
fencing was big, yeah. It's probably,
Really.
that's probably the biggest thing we missed, was not having that fence in there.
Yeah.
Because people were just coming from all directions,
Right,
breaking into lines
yeah,
and just.
they thought they could rush up to
Yeah.
Santa, I'm sure, and
But actually, safety lines were the biggest thing at multiple things that night that were brought up in the event subcommittee that would improve that event. So they're gonna get lots of what they call Disney lines for all over the place next time. Because the ice slide needs it badly. Yeah. It was a blast, but.
The lighting at the park was severely underrated this year. As far as
Yeah.
lighting on the road, needed more light towers. There was light towers that weren't delivered that should have been delivered. We worked with that rental person today. They would assure us, and Encore, unfortunately, I'm sorry, Encore.
Sorry, guys.
Ford Road lights, they were checked, but for some reason they weren't on, and because of the construction stuff on Ford Road with the buildings, and it's pushed parking even further. There was not enough lighting. We felt that it is a safety. We're working on getting new lights in, but even at that aspect of it, with the reassurance of the rental company today, if we have an issue where we have lights not working, they guarantee us they'll have couple of light towers to us within 1 hour. So if an event's starting at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and we're noticing it's dark, we can get them out there because they're just right on the other side of 635, and they will have them to us on an emergency situation. Inside the park, I noticed several different areas that, because things have changed, that we need to add a few more light poles here and there to help light up some of those things. And our meeting we had today, we're looking at a little more on what we can do and what council wants as far as a little more lighting, as far as Christmas lighting, or some things that enlighten the party.
Well, I worked the fire department at first aid tent, and as it got dark, there was no light. And somebody said, well, would you like the light in here? And I said, well, I think that would help. So I want to compliment your team staff, because they went out and they got a light and we were lit up for the rest of the night.
Unfortunately, it should have had a light in it before then. One of the rental pieces of equipment from the golf cart company, ran out of juice. Well, when they drug it to where they needed to drag it to get it out of the way, they didn't grab the lights that were supposed to go into the tent. So then it was try to find them, and that's on that is our fault. And the guys found them and at least got them up.
Yes, they did.
But it was a little too late. They should have noticed it a little sooner.
We're fine. I attended the candlelight tours over at the historical park, and then stayed for the carolers who were there, the Victorian carolers. And I was very disappointed that there were very few people who came from the community. The next Friday, we told Lauren, oh, we're gonna come back next week just to see the carolers. And she said, oh, yeah, come back. Again, hardly anybody was there. Those carolers were so magnificent, and they took requests from everyone. That's all they sang are requests.
When was this?
The candlelight tours in December.
Do you know where people are allowed to park during that? Do they get to park in the historical park parking?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we
Okay.
parked there, and we did the tour the first week, and then Lauren said, well, come back next week for the carolers. And we said, so we did, and she said, you really did come back? And we said, yes, they were great. I mean, they even, made one hippopotamus for Christmas.
The construction over there has kept a lot of people that have talked to me away from that area.
Well, it's pretty cleared up on.
Well, it is now.
Yeah.
No, I'm not Valley View, but on.
Farmer Springs line, yeah, I mean, we parked right in, it was not a problem, but we just couldn't believe that there were not more people there.
Well, Denton Drive's gonna be done soon, so shouldn't have any other issues around the park for next year, so that'll help.
And there may have been an issue with getting some advertising out.
I was gonna say.
I agree. I agree. So,
I didn't.
I mean, they were so cool. They were just so cool. They danced and they, it was just.
Now that we have the marketing team over there.
That's awesome. I was at the Christmas teas, which were wonderful, but I also had people with me who had not seen the Ford Road renovation and the parking, and they were thrilled that they could park so much closer to the venue. Several of them would not have been able to get from even the other end of the park to the venue easily. And so there are people that are seeing that gradually and really like that. So that's been a good addition.
I attended this past Tuesday, filled in for Adrian. The mayor and city council kicked off their strategic planning policy for this coming year. And they had all the chairmen of the different boards at the meeting. And it was just so that the mayor and city council could all kind of align everybody's function as they start their strategic planning. Asked to speak on the aesthetics and beautification of the city, how we can better communicate with the residents, engage with residents, and then just economics. What I talked about when it comes to the beautification, I talked about our parks that we're in the process of now, which is Squire Park, Dutch Village, Mercer Crossing, and Oak Brook medians. And with communications and engaging, I said, really we do a lot just as we're out in our day-to-day activity, but the real time we have a platform to talk with our citizens at our events, because that's when everybody's there, they're in a good mood, and we can really engage with our residents. And then with economics, I sort of went solo on this one. This is my opinion. Since I was talking to the mayor and the board, I said, a lot of times the economics of something doesn't always have to make economic sense, and it can still work out. And I used the example because I had just talked with Ashley earlier that day and gotten the reports. A year or so ago, we drastically cut the membership dues for senior citizens to the rec center, the aquatic center, and everything. And that made no difference to our overall revenue. You see no dip, nothing. Our revenue has remained strong. And so I pointed that out to the council members and the mayor that, you can do things for people and it still make economic sense, even though it doesn't sound like it would. One of the things that I was, there were two things I was very surprised about. Number one is every board deals with trees. I thought that was parks and medians with trees, but sustainability board had this presentation about trees, and planning and zoning, went off on this tangent about trees. So I know we sit around here and we talk about trees and everything, but we're not the only ones.
Yeah, that's good.
Everybody is talking about trees. And then the other thing that really hit me is that the city is going very strong with water conservation. With this rate increase, a lot of things were being described. And what it made me think of was Squire Park and the discussion we've had about the water feature. That's something that the optics of that right now is just not there. More from a political standpoint than anything. So as we review designs and everything, we really need to take into account trees and water. That's what I brought back on that. I was asked a few questions, and thank goodness the questions were all about Oak Brook median. That's my wheelhouse. And I was glad the questions were about that, because it's so typical of everything out there is you read something on social media or you hear something and you don't know the whole story. So I was able to say, no, this goes back a year. And this is why the HOA gave it up. And this is why the trees had to come out. And it is more than just willy-nilly, let's just tear down trees. And so I did get an opportunity to explain the whole thought process behind the Oak Brook medians. So, and But fortunately, that was the only really in-depth questions I got.
Well, I'm glad you were there.
Life worked out.
Yeah, just worked out.
I wanted to say thanks for the pet waste bags at Farmers Ranch Park. I have noticed people using them and less waste out when I'm walking around the track. So that has already had a positive improvement with that one post. So thank you.
You said at Farmers Branch Park?
Mhm.
Are you sure it's pet waste? I know we've had an issue with an individual that's been out there, so we rerouted the fence on the south end and cleaned up an area out there. Because we had a little issue with some things and just kind of got rid of a fence, mowed it all down, cut a lot of stuff down between the post office and us.
So, okay, was the tree all, there was something there that I thought cleaned up.
Yes. But it's things that needed to be taken care of and
Yeah.
a little more safer for people to walk around the park.
So
So,
it was looking really good out there the last few times we were out there.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to C9. Is there anything else besides what Robert had already said? And the different,
So we've moved some things to February. Yeah.
yes,
Potentially, going back to the discussion of the audits, when I joined the Parks Board, we did a tour. All the new people and then whoever wanted to got on a short bus and we drove around to 5 or 6 parks one Saturday afternoon. And they were parks I would have never been to. And got a little bit of history on them, got to see them, got to see, that's the first time I ever saw Dutch Village. That's just not in my wheelhouse. Going up in that neighborhood, it's not something on my thing. So I'm wondering if either formally or informally, we do something like that.
Yeah, we could look at that. I know if we do a tour, we typically would have to post it because you have a quorum. So it's not a big deal. It's just something we need to kind of determine a date and time. So I don't know if we have it on, what we can do is put it as an item for discussion at the February meeting and you guys can think about either the fall or spring. Yeah, yeah,
I would have
that's a
loved it
good
2
idea.
years ago. Although the history part, I would still love the history part.
I mean, with terms coming up, you don't necessarily want to be doing it July, August, but.
Right, I would suggest a spring or a fall date, so if we wanted to do something, probably not past April and then fall would be October, November, maybe December if we want. Could be, we don't meet in December, so we could do a tour in December, that would be something that early we could look at doing, but that's just some food for thought on that. Okay.
For the next meeting, any thoughts or plans that anyone has about parking for special events? I've had several people ask me what's going to happen with the construction down of that building and parking lot on Ford Road that appears to be no more. So,
That was the construction I was talking
well,
about.
I mean, it doesn't look like they're rebuilding it as a parking lot, is what I'm trying to say. So I think anything we can find out and be sharing with people, because there are people out there that have seen it and they're like, well, what are we gonna do? We can't go to the park anymore.
Yeah, we'll definitely bring that back, but if you guys attended Christmas, we already had the plan in place, so we've already resolved that.
Yeah, well, I was out of town, so I
Yeah.
don't know what that is.
And so what we'll do is we will get, what we'll probably do is get addresses, like an aerial map. That way you guys can kind of see the distance in walking and give us feedback. But if you guys have any feedback from anyone that attended Christmas, of course, again, lighting was another thing for sure down there. But yeah, we're paying to rent parking spaces for our community events. So it's already been resolved.
It's a really good hike.
Yes.
That volunteers. Honestly, for me, I could have cut through my neighborhood and been there
And
about the same.
I will say some of the commercial they're building, there will be parking with that, so won't be as much as what's already there, but we will definitely, once that stuff's in, approach them on using what parking they have and then continue to pay for the rest of the parking that we can
The
get.
other question I've got related to that, because some of them, I guess, knew it was farther away, is whether there'll be any consideration for, once again, doing a bus or something, or hayride, or some means of transporting people from parking up to the gates. And that would be another thing for.
They had something, didn't they?
We had handicap parking a little bit closer, didn't we?
Yeah, I got parking, yeah,
At counter stores.
right there.
Yeah.
But it's over.
Yeah, we'll bring it back. We'll bring back parking.
Okay.
Yeah, that works.
But yeah, we did talk at the event subcommittee about everybody who was volunteers or got there early, they haven't quite closed off that road yet. So it's pretty unsafe with cars driving at us while we were walking. So after the event started, they had closed more of it off, but.
Yeah, we had to this year and the following year. So with us having the teas at the venue, we're not able to prep Ford Road until later in the day. So unfortunately that we can't avoid unless we put the teas back in the Dotson, which isn't ideal. It's
Crossing guard. Good thing the crossing guard.
Yeah, we
Move
could,
the
we could
date.
put more staff there. Yes, and this
At least
Christmas
just for that little point.
in December, I believe they moved the date and they put them both like on the same weekend.
Yeah, they moved it so it shouldn't conflict, so, but we'll bring that up at the next meeting.
Anything else?
I think I would like to know crime statistics, maybe in our parks. I recently had a neighbor who was entering a park and there was a homeless individual who started yelling racial slurs at them, and then as he was walking and leaving the park after walking his dogs, the homeless individual pulled out a knife on them, and they just ran home. They didn't have their phone on them, unfortunately, and they ran home, called the police, but because the police doesn't have anything else to back them up, like cameras or anything like that, they let the individual go. Said they were scared of the dogs, that's why they pulled the knife. Just tiny little dogs.
Yeah, which part?
The Grove.
At the Grove?
The Grove.
Maybe train stations.
Yeah. And so I think it's important to know crime statistics, seeing maybe if other people or other members of our community are actually also experiencing the same thing. And if it happens to be an issue, what can we do to recommend maybe making it safer?
We talked about having cameras, at that park and also at the dog park, and
Yeah.
somebody said it was too expensive, to put in a $70 camera in
Yeah.
and let it run like it does a Ring doorbell, but
Right,
I don't know why we never could do that.
Right.
We asked about it at every year.
Mhm.
What the Parks and Recreation Board asks for that every year.
absolutely. And I think we have, if it's crime statistics that are saying it, then, we have proof that backs it up, that, hey, this is justification for why we need it. Or maybe even having a survey, maybe people asking people in their community if people are feeling safe in their parks. This is a city and a park, and if people come here because that's what we're known for.
Unfortunately for that park, the adjacency to the DART station. I mean, there have been many times I have felt very, very unsafe at the DART station, and then the halo effect of that. I was waiting for you one time and some guy was really weird at the DART station.
There's a few individuals that we have run-ins with on a continuous basis.
Yeah.
And I'm not making up excuses for any department or whatever, but I would hope they would have ran the individual's information, and if he has been stopped before, then they would have normally taken care of it, not his word, their word.
Yeah.
We've changed some things at the Grove right now while the construction is going on to try to alleviate some of the lingering around of people. And we put up a temporary fence around a lot of those structures that are there.
Yeah.
Dog park, we've been working on trying to figure out a way with cameras and things that are there. When we put in a camera, it's unfortunately, they don't want us using outside vendor type things. They want us to go with an internal camera system. We've had some where we've tried different ones, and yes, some of them work, but it doesn't intertwine, and they don't want any outside vendor stuff. Just say it as a ring, because it doesn't run through our system, and it's an outside thing, and they want their own program to be able to run it the way they want to.
Yeah, because I don't think we weren't asking for anything that would be monitored.
just, you know, that would have a recording, so if somebody
Well, the
gets
recording,
killed.
yes, the recording of the cameras and Ring for a residential is not expensive. The problem is because it is an outside internet, and I'm not technically with the internet stuff, but we have a security system that it ties with those security cameras that backs up to an internal server, and they don't want an external service being in on our system because of breaches and high security thing.
So that's the
Is the
security part.
Is the cost prohibitive? Is that the reason for the last 10 years we've been asking?
At the dog park specifically, or just? in general?
It shouldn't park it, and it, this other
Well,
part.
I think what we'll do is we'll get you guys some information on cameras at dog park. So that might be something to bring to the next meeting. So for
I
sure.
know that when we built that park, I ran some extra conduits just in case that, whenever they got the money or whenever we brought that on. But there still has to be a service being brought from the road to the building to keep them there to back to City Hall on the servers, fiber optic. So that's where it starts adding up. To get a fiber optic drop, it's not like at your house. It gets real expensive to be able to, it's say $25,000 for the drop on this end and $25,000 on when you're doing commercial type stuff. So it really inflates and I guess that's where, but with the budget coming up and us planning, we can ask for it and put it in there to see if we can move forward with it on the budget.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Well, let me do just a quick recap of just some of the things because for next agenda. So we're going to bring updates on tree audit, Bird City, egrets, and specifically, I guess, the ones at City Hall. That's what we had concerns about.
Yeah.
Rose Rosette at the Rose Garden, tennis backstop at Gussie. Is that what? Okay. Possible tour, for the board. We'll update parking on special events. Some of the crime information Christian, were discussing, and then we'll look at cameras at the dog park as well. We'll kind of bring you back some updates.
Thank you.
Okay.
May I ask a question real quick?
Yes, sir.
The tennis backstop, where it was located at, is it a problem to move it to the other side so that when a southern wind blows, it's blocked by the building so it doesn't blow the fence over? That's one of,
Just asked where it was, you know, if they could get one back. I don't.
yes,
As long as it's functional, I don't think they have an issue
okay.
unless it would run into interfering with somebody else doing something else. So like, are you talking about putting it so that it would be part of the basketball court?
No. It used to be on the southern end of the east tennis court.
Yes.
We got a lot of southern winds and it blew all the fence down and it blew that down. With us putting it on the west tennis court behind the bathrooms, it's blocked by the wind so that the southern winds don't. So it would be
Take the fence with, yeah,
there you go.
that actually would make some real nice common sense.
Okay, is there anything else we need to add? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
No, so moved.
Okay.
Second. She moves off second.
Repeat it.
So Jennifer,
Motion to adjourn.
And I second.
David seconded, all in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Okay.